Hey, Tony Gaskins here. I wanted to pop in today for a Sunday sermon. Now, this night service this Sunday, I was tied up with the family this morning. But I want to talk to you about something because I've been noticing this a lot. And I remember growing up, I would hear this saying, and the older folks would say, don't be so heavenly minded that you are no earthly good. And essentially what they meant was there would be an arrogance and an ignorance about certain believers, to where they would be so self-righteous that they would be ignorant, that they could not reach everyday people. So a person would say, hey, you are a Christian, so why are you talking to someone or helping someone who is in a same-sex relationship? And then the question would be, well, what is your role as a believer if you are going to shun those who don't believe the way you believe? If you can't have a conversation, or you can't lend a helping hand, or you can't coach or mentor someone who may not believe what you believe, then what does it say about your witness, about your ministry? And that's one example. Another example is people take and believe that because God can do the impossible, that God will also do the impractical. And that's not how God will work. What I mean by that is, God can do what you may not expect. God can do what you pray for, which may not look like to other people like it will happen, but when it happens, it's still going to make sense. In the sense of, you may say, hey, I want to save myself until marriage. To everybody around you in your secular city may say, there is no way you're going to meet a man that is going to save himself with you until marriage. Guess what? If your heart is in the right place and you're praying and you believing and you are expecting, you will attract that man who will wait for you until marriage. But guess what? That man won't be 25 years older than you, 25 years younger than you, because God is not a cruel God. God is not the author of confusion. So yes, although what you were praying for seemed impossible, God is not going to do something that's impractical. And I don't even know if that's a word, but we're going to use it today. Okay? Impractical. So what I mean by that is, how cruel would it be for God to say, okay, yeah, I'm going to send you somebody that will be abstinent like you, but they're going to be 25 years older than you. So y'all going to die 25 years apart. You going to want children and they going to be ready to retire. You're going to want to see the world and they're going to want to sit on the front porch in a rocking chair. That ain't God. When God does something, it's going to make sense for your life. It's going to fit you. But here's the thing. If it's for you, that may not be for everybody else. So let's say to other people, it is impractical. Guess what? God ain't going to give you the authorization to go tell everybody else, hey, this is what can happen. This is what can happen. This is what's going to happen. That was for you. That's your blessing. Not all blessings are transferable. So you have to understand that in this world, we have wisdom. We have common sense. And what's wrong with a lot of people is we want to ignore common sense and be ignorant in our lustful desires. So we want to say, oh, because I want somebody who looks like this, dressed like this nationality, this race, this color, this height, this age. We are wanting something from our youthful lust and then expecting to receive based on what we want from the wrong place. But what we are asking for may not even make sense. You living in an apartment complex that is $1,000 a month, but you believe in God for a Mercedes Benz that costs $1,000 a month. You see what I mean? God can do the impossible, but he's not going to do the impractical. You 65 and you believe in God for somebody that's 40 because you want somebody that's young and vibrant. Well, what is God doing for that 40-year-old? Because the 40-year-old is not praying for somebody that's 65. Lord, bless me with a 65-year-old that's young and vibrant. I just have a thing for 65-year-olds and I'm 40. Lord, I'm 40. I want somebody that's 25 because they're going to be vibrant and they're going to love roller coasters and I'm young in spirit. Well, what you think the 25-year-old want? Do you think the 25-year-old saying, Lord, I want somebody that's 40? No. God gonna give you what's for you, what's practical for you, even though it may seem impossible because of some of your other standards. So that's why you have to remember that God is not the author of confusion. And everything is not for everybody. So I'm not going to come and say, hey, ignore all conventional wisdom. Ignore all common sense because God is on the throne. You know what? Ignore the fact that 99% of people that will come at you in this day and age is doing it for this reason. Ignore that fact because God is on the throne. No. God does things decent and in order. 1 Corinthians chapter 14 said God is not the author of confusion. And now what it was relating to it in that chapter is talking about how you shouldn't be speaking in tongues amongst unbelievers who don't have a clue what you're talking about if you don't have the gift of interpretation. So you shouldn't be around unbelievers because it said if unbelievers come in your presence, your place of worship, won't they look at you and think that you're mad? Meaning think that you crazy? And the writer said, I will rather speak 5 words that are clear and easy to understand than 10,000 words in another unknown language. So what it's talking about is that God still is going to make sense. Yes, he can do for you what may not be happening for everybody else. Meaning you get a raise and a promotion without a college degree. But God is not going to bless you with the job of being an astronaut when you went to school to be an esthetician. And see, that's the ignorance that a lot of believers have today. Tony, so you're telling me that even though God is on the throne, this 35-year-old man cannot be genuinely attracted to a 60-year-old woman who is barren and can no longer have kids, and this man wants 3 kids. You're telling me that this 35-year-old cannot be attracted to this 60-year-old woman, and he wants 3 kids, and she cannot have kids. Oh, God can do anything. That's ignorance. You wasting your time and God time. You wasting all our time. God still is going to do things decent and in order. Now, who would have thought that Ruth, whose husband died, would be working? A lot of people say, oh, Ruth knew what she was doing. Ruth knew what she was doing when she went to work in Boaz's field. The Bible didn't say that. The Bible didn't say Ruth went to work in this field to catch a man. The Bible didn't say that. She went to work because she couldn't sit in the house all day. She had to make money. She had to get food. You don't eat if you don't work. She went to work. Okay? Now, even though she went there to work and Boaz saw her, guess what? He still had to do things decent and in order. They didn't get in fornication. Even though it was a part of the custom, according to Naomi, to say, hey, you need to go to him and lay at his feet so that he knows that you are single. It's a single signal because he is not authorized to jump the broom. He is not authorized to get out of order and to come after you because you could be somebody else's wife. So you need to go over there. That's what that signified. But guess what? That does not apply to today. Because you come in a single man house today, unannounced, without permission, you're going to be shot and killed. Okay? So what is that? That's common sense. Oh, well, what God did for Ruth, he could do for me. So I'm finna go in this man's house. I'm finna go down here to my neighbor's house. And at 1 a.m., I'm finna bust in that door. And I'm finna go in there. And I'm finna lay at the bottom of his bed at his feet. And you know what? I'm gonna put this chapter with this chapter over here. And I'm gonna kiss his feet. And I'm gonna cry because I'm frustrated. And I'm gonna wash his feet like the harlot did Jesus. I'm gonna put it all together because it all comes from the Bible. See, that's how y'all sound today. And then get mad when somebody give you common sense. When somebody give you wisdom. When somebody get a revelation from God. When God done had a man who was like Apostle Paul. See, Apostle Paul, before he became Apostle Paul, he was Saul. So what did he do? When he was Saul, he persecuted Christians. You don't know what persecute means? Look it up. He persecuted Christians. But on the road to Damascus, Apostle Paul had a run-in with Jesus. The presence of the Lord was so bright, Saul went blind for 3 days. But when Jesus confronted him, because see, when you living wrong but there's a calling on your life, you're going to have a confrontation. And when Saul was confronted, Jesus said, why are you persecuting my people? And from then Saul said, whoa, I didn't know you were real. I thought this was a hoax. I thought this was a fairy tale. I thought these people was crazy. But you real? Oh my goodness. I'm bowing down. I'm finna serve you. So see, what God will do is God will take somebody like myself who was an absolute dog, who was persecuting women. And he will give a revelation to that person who was doing all kinds of evil, but will give a revelation and say, look, you're not only going to have personal experience, but I'm going to give you wisdom beyond your years. I'm going to give you wisdom that you can apply to your personal experience to help those who are willing to listen. But understand this, it's going to be some people that are going to be angered by your wisdom and common sense because they looking for magic. They looking for a psychic. They looking for a tarot card reader. They looking for a horoscope. They believing in majesty and majestical. Genie in a bottle. They think I'm a puppet master. They think I'm an ATM machine. They think that I'm a man with a long white beard sitting in a gold chair playing games with human life. Listen. And they gonna say that they're my children. They gonna say that they Christian. And they hoping and they believing in ignorance out of arrogance. They are ignorant out of arrogance. And I'm going to send you to bring wisdom, and I'm going to send you to bring clarity, but understand. They crucified Apostle Paul. Understand this. They crucified Jesus Christ. I believe Apostle Paul died by beheading, that he was beheaded, that he brought a word. Now, how do you go from being a persecutor of Christians to writing 13 books of the Holy Bible? How do you do that? Unless you call by God. How do you go from being toxic, controlling, abusive, womanizing, lying, cheating, dog, thief, drug dealer, criminal, to being faithful, righteous, minister, life coach, best-selling author, intercontinental speaker, but by God? How do you go and reach millions and you come from a town of 5,000? How do you go from a town of 5,000 to reaching millions? How do you have no college degree, but doctors and lawyers call you and pay you more hourly than they earn? How do you do that but by God? But even though that evidence of my presence will be there, you will have doubters and naysayers who come to cause confusion, hoping that they can derail you from your message and your ministry. But they are ignorant by arrogance. They are conceited in their own wisdom. When I come to make it plain. See, God ain't coming to confuse you. That's why 1 Corinthians chapter 14 said that God is not the author of confusion. That's why the Bible says God does not tempt man. The Bible says God tempts no man. The Bible says God is not a man that he should lie. See, God ain't come to make life difficult, to make life complicated, to have you 65 waiting on a 40-year-old to fall in love with you, to have you 20 waiting on a 45-year-old to fall in love with you, to have you with a communications degree waiting on NASA to call you to be an astronaut, to be living on Section 8 waiting on Mercedes-Benz to bless you with an S560. God ain't called you to confusion, to ignorance, to a reprobate mind, to be so heavenly minded that you are no earthly good, to be so righteous in your own stinking nostrils that you can't help people in need. Lady said to me, how do you coach somebody who in a same-sex relationship? How do you help that person? How you a devout Christian? I'm not condoning their lifestyle, but I'm loving them as Christ loved them. So if they in a toxic relationship, I'm going to teach them what a healthy relationship is, because me sharing what a healthy relationship is might send them on another path and spare their life. And when they look further within, they say, well, how did you get it? And I say, well, I got my relationship by building it on the principles of the Holy Bible. And they say, oh, well, I don't read the Holy Bible. And I said, well, you should try it. Then they try it and they read the Holy Bible and they bump into a scripture that says their lifestyle is out of order. That their lifestyle is an offense to God. Whether it's fornication, idolatry, whatever it may be, homosexuality, whatever they bump into in that word. Lying, backbiting, stealing, coveting. But because I help this person who may not believe what I believe, but because of the love of Christ, they were reached. Not because of the letter of the law were they reached, because this person may be illiterate. This person may not be able to read and comprehend. This person may have a 3rd grade education and the words in the Bible look like a spell from the movie Matilda. They just float off the page and just floating around the room and they don't have a clue. So the only Bible that this person may read is my life. The only testimony this person may hear is my testimony. But if I turn my nose up and I look down on them because they don't live like me, because they don't walk like me, because they don't talk like me, because they ain't got my story, because they ain't got my wisdom, because they don't know my God, if I turn my nose up and look down on them, I'll never be able to reach them. If I come in their presence and instead of speaking plainly, I start speaking in tongues. They ain't never read a Bible, ain't never stepped foot in the church, and I'm on the what have I done for their life? But what am I doing for myself? I'm edifying my ego to say I'm spiritual, I'm holy. That's how I can. That's what 1 Corinthians chapter 14 is talking about. It say when you speaking in tongues, you edifying you. But when you prophesy, you talk about the goodness of God. You talk about the work of God. Now you edify the people. So what good does it do you to go to a believer and speak an unknown language? What good does it do you? What good does it do them? See, God ain't come to be majestical and to be confusing, because that would not be the point of being a savior, of being a leader, of being a help in need, of being an everlasting arm that you can lean on and trust in, confide in, hope in. See, that would defeat the purpose. To be unreachable, to be unimaginable, to where you can't understand, you can't comprehend, because you so righteous, because you so holy, because your nose turned up. Listen, God ain't called me or any believer to walk around walking on water every day. Ain't now one of us can walk on water, period. But we walking around on asphalt like we walking on water. And we want to tell people, and I see sometimes people want me to tell them, hey, you know, I know that you live in your little city and working on that job. But because you have fantasized every day about meeting and marrying Sean Diddy Combs, God is going to correct his heart, bring him to him, and deliver him to you. You are going to be walking through the grocery store, and Sean Diddy Combs is going to come up to you with a Bible and a bottle of olive oil and tell you that you are his wife, because God can do anything, and God delivered him and brought him to Lithonia, Georgia, to the supermarket on 1st and Crenshaw to meet you. That's what people want to hear. That's what believers today want to hear. That ain't the business God in. That ain't the business God in. See, God can do the impossible. It's still going to be practical for your life. It's still going to make sense for your life. God not finna say, listen, I know you want to be married. So what I'm going to do for you is I'm raising up a man 20 hours away by plane. He working in a dirt field. He speaks 11 languages and not one of them is English. I'm finna take you from Pahokee, Florida to Nairobi, Kenya. And when you get off the plane, he gonna be coming in the dust out of the dirt field. And he been mining and working all day. And he gonna come up to you and he gonna speak to you in his 11th language. And you gonna understand it perfectly. And all you speak is English. That's what people want to hear today. Listen to me. This thing is disturbing me. Do you know? I ain't telling you no lie. When I tell you that believers is in the comments wanting me to teach a fairy tale, wanting me to teach a impracticability. Okay, that's a word today. We're going to use that word today. Wanting me to teach the exception. It's talking about because God is able. God can do anything. God can do anything. So I believe that this woman who is 65 years old with no legs can meet this man who has both of his legs. And a matter of fact, God blessed him with a prosthetic to give her. That is what God could do. I got an email like that. It pretty much read like that. I said, Lord. I said, Lord. I said, Lord. I said, baby, bring me some, Lord, we in the 19. I said, baby, bring me some olive oil and bring me the hand sanitizer. I got the lotion. I said, Lord, I ain't got no olive oil right now, but let me anoint something right now, because these people is crazy. I say, Lord, but see, listen, you want this to be somebody that's living in an asylum. That's what you want it to be. No. This your next door neighbor who go to church and serve on the usher board every Sunday. Right now with their mask on, with pews, every other pew is removed. But they in there with their mask and gloves on. And this is what they believe in. We have believers sitting in the house. Do not get out the house. And believing that the man she got a crush on from Grey's Anatomy gonna bump into her in the grocery store, because that's what God told her in a dream. Now we got versions of that. We got versions of that. We got versions of that in every walk of life. Listen, God can do the impossible. but it's still going to make sense for your life. It's still going to fit your life. And if it is impractical, if it is something that just don't make no sense at all, God ain't going to authorize you to go tell everybody from the mountaintop that God going to do the same thing for them. I'm not authorized by God to come and tell you, hey, fornicate, unprotected 3 times a day, and you're going to end up a millionaire. God ain't told me to do that. God ain't never going to tell me to do that just because it happened for me. See, he spared me to take my ignorance and give it godly wisdom, turn it into godly wisdom to bring you a practical, common sense, wisdom-filled guide for life. See, listen. The Bible may say one thing, right? The Bible may say the borrower is servant to the lender. Okay? But the Bible does not say to keep your credit cards under 30% usage to increase your credit score. Do you see what I'm saying? The Bible may say that fornication is a sin. But the Bible does not say fornication can cause you to catch an STD that is incurable. It don't spell that out. The Bible does not mention the word herpes. It does not mention the word syphilis. It does not mention the word HIV. But guess what? All of those things exist today. So this is what you got to understand. Some people say, oh, the Bible is all and the only thing that you need. Y'all don't hear listen to these relationship coaches, and these relationship coaches ain't got a clue what they talk about. You need to go talk to God. Guess what? That's why God raised up ministers. Because God is in the business of providing revelation. See, your revelation ain't going to be my revelation. But if you intended to share that revelation, God going to increase your territory. He will enlarge your territory. Guess what? God gave me a revelation on relationships. If you got that same revelation and you believe in God and you read your Holy Bible, then pray that God will enlarge your territory. Because your territory ain't my comment section. Do you hear me? If God done called you to tell people that they could go, because God is able, could beat Usain Bolt in 100 meters running on their knees because God could do anything. If God called you to tell people that lie, then pray that he enlarge your territory. But today, we need believers to understand that God done call you to use common sense. Use common sense. You don't got to get no, y'all in here getting a book of recipes. Okay, all right, what is that? Okay, all right, so I'm gonna need 2 pumps of Lysol. Okay, I'm gonna need 3 squirts of Clairol. Okay, I'm gonna need 1 jug of keratin. Okay, all right, and then I need a jar of lip gloss. Okay, mix it all together for 39 seconds and rub it on my face, and that's gonna bring my husband. Okay, all right. That's what believers talking about today. That because God can do the impossible, that he's going to do the improbable, that he's going to do the impractical, that he's going to do the unlikely, that he's going to do that he's going to do what your youthful lust, because you've been lusting after this human being, which is a sin, that God gonna deliver your sin to you on a platter because that's what you want. No. Because you greedy, because you jealous, because you are coveting, you sitting and believing that you don't have to go to work, and you're going to be blessed with an overflow of food, and that you're going to be blessed with a Mercedes Benz and a 4-bedroom, 2-bath sitting on 2 acres, and it's just going to come to you because you just been praying for it, because God could do anything. Listen. You're going to have to stop thinking that God is a genie in a bottle. You're going to have to stop being so heavenly minded. There's some stuff going on in heaven, all right? That ain't going to happen for you here. But you're going to have to stop playing with the Lord. You're going to have to be humble. You're going to have to be diligent. You're going to have to be obedient. And you're going to have to use wisdom. You're not going to be able to walk out here and disregard all wisdom. I don't care how much you believe in God. But you cross the street while the traffic got a green light, you gonna get killed. You hear me? And that's what y'all trying to do. That's what you trying to do today. You trying to say, oh, well, I know that I'm in this situation, but I'm going to deal with this man who I know does not have my best interest in heart. I know that 99.9% of the time, a man who look like this, act like this, talk like this, walk like this, think like this, smell like this, think like this, look like this, walk like this, talk like this, is not good. But I'm going to believe God, because see, that's why they said 99.9. See, it's a 0.1. Woo! Chandra! Ooh, I serve a 0.1 God. I serve a 0.1 God. And you out here talking about you serve a 0.1 God. So you say, you finna do this. It don't make no sense. It's against all common sense. It's against all wisdom. You operating from lust. You operating from greed. You operating from selfishness. You operating from ignorance. You operating from arrogance. You operating from desperation. You operating from frustration. But you finna do it anyways. Talking about you serve a 0.1 God. No. I don't care if you holding olive oil. If you holding olive oil, you stick your hand in a hot oven, you're gonna get burned. You hear me? You go out here trying to break all convention, all conventional wisdom. You wanna be going against all of the rules, trying to be the exception to the rule so you could prove a point in the comments. You're going to lose your life. And before you lose it, you're going to lose your mind. Listen to me. Stop trying to make God fit your fantasy. Stop trying to make God fit what you want to happen. And use wisdom. Because God ain't going to do nothing if it's not his will. Ain't nothing going to come to you unless it's his will. And you got to stop asking everybody to believe in your fairy tale that you holding on to. Because see, God is real. God ain't no fairy tale. God ain't no fairy tale. See, God gonna take the practical and he's gonna do something with the practical. but it's still going to be believable. See, you see me today, and you see what I'm doing. And you may see Tony Gaskins Academy. You may see my mentor.life. You may see that I done spoke around the world. You may see that I told my story on Oprah, my story on Tyra Banks. You may see that I work alone, me and my wife, that I don't have a big team. I don't have an agent or publicist and all of that. And you may see that on social media, God done gave me 3 million people on social media between Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. 3 million people that I could share the wisdom that he's given me with those people. You may see that, but guess what? I'm not sitting on a cloud. God ain't put me on no cloud to shoot my videos. I can't, hey Lord, hey, woo, Lord, this gonna get him. Woo, Lord, you could do anything. Now listen, I'm getting ready to go live for the Blessed Tribe. Hey, let me sit on cloud 9 up there. Come on now, Lord. Ooh, that's gonna kill him. Lord, you want him to believe in you? Let me sit on cloud 9, Lord. Come on. No. That ain't how God work. That ain't how God work. Hey, Lord. Hey, you want these people to believe in you, Lord? Hey, I'm going to tell you what. Let Bill Gates call me and tell me that God laid it on, that you laid it on his heart to transfer all of his net worth to me. Come on. Ooh, Lord, that's going to make everybody believe in you. Ooh, that's going to kill him. Ooh. That's what you want to do. So this is what you out here doing. You out here 55, 65, sleeping with a 25-year-old. Sleeping with a 25, 30, 35-year-old, talking about God gonna deliver him. I know I'm in sin, but God could do the impossible. I know we slept together, but God could do the impossible. God's gonna deliver him. I know he does not have a job, but look at Tony Gaskins. Tony Gaskins is ignorant, and look at what he doing good. So God could do this for my man because guess what? I got a woman's influence. Look what God did for Cherie Gaskins. She could do that for me. He could do that for me. No, that ain't how God work. That ain't how God work. It's still got to make sense. Common sense. It still got to be wisdom. Still got to be wisdom. See, it ain't wisdom to walk around believing in the exception to the rule. That's why the Bible say obey the laws of the land. That's why when they came to trip Jesus up and they say, hey, Jesus, hey, Yeshua, hey, Zeus, Yahweh. Hey, let me holler at you, boy. Hey, let me holler at you. Hey, watch this. This right here gonna get him right here. Hey, let me ask you this. So, hey, how you feel about paying tithes to Caesar? Watch this. It's gonna get him right here. Jesus say, render unto Caesar what's Caesar's. They thought he was finna say, I am the Son of God. Do you see that cloud right there? It's coming to swoop me up. I don't have to pay taxes if I make money because I serve God and I am the Son of God. I don't have to pay taxes. I don't believe in taxes because I serve God. Jesus say, render unto Caesar what's Caesar's. He say, yes, I'm the Son of God, but I'm on earth. And my Father said, obey the laws of the land. So although, yes, I probably could snap a finger and go from here to heaven and back, no, I'm finna walk from this city to that city. No, God ain't send me a cloud. No, I ain't got no cloud to ride from Damascus to Geneva. No, we got to walk. Yeah, playboy, we got to walk. Come on, let's go. Hey, get your donkey, Peter. Let's go. All right, now my legs tired. Yeah, I know I serve. I know I'm the Son of God. but my legs tired. So let me ride the donkey on in. You see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? Jesus ain't come and say, hey, you know what? I'm the Son of God. So what we gonna do? What we getting ready to do? When I do this, everybody gonna believe that I was crucified and died and rose again. No, he had to be beat. He had to be crucified. He had to carry his cross. He had to be put on the cross next to sinners, murderers, thieves, and he had to pay his price. What I mean by this is, you're going to have to play by the rules. You're going to have to use common sense. See, what wisdom could be considered is a profound dose of common sense. So what that means is, date in your range. What that means is, be with somebody who want to be with you, not just somebody you want to be with. What that mean is, if somebody done been down a path that you've never been down, have the wisdom to believe the signs that they tell you about. If somebody has walked down this path and they say, hey, now listen, okay, when you get about 3 miles up the road, it's a pack of wild wolves. So before you get there, you're going to have to stay the night a mile away. When it hits sunlight, you got to go. Because you got to get past their territory because they up at night. If you walk at night, you ain't going to see that 4th mile. You're going to lose it on the 3rd mile. See, that's just wisdom. This person say, I done been there. Now let me bring y'all home here. If I tell you as a man, listen to me. I'm a 36-year-old man. I have never in my life met a 36-year-old man who said, ooh, man, I love 60-year-old women. Ooh, I want to marry a 60-year-old. Ooh, I want to marry a 60-year-old. Boy, I want to suck her toes. Because them toes don't walk many miles. Man, look here. When I tell you I've never seen that. Never seen it. Was on a football team with 94 other men. Done been a man all my life. Done played every game a man could play. If I tell you this the games that these men playing, and you ain't never been a man, why would you tell me, oh, well, that's not what really men think? See, what men really think is, okay, go ahead and tell me. Go ahead and tell me what you think men really think. Go ahead and tell me what you think men really attracted to. Go ahead and tell me what you think, how men date and why they doing what they do. Go ahead and tell me. Ma'am, with a vajay, been a woman all your life. Ain't never been a man. Ain't never dated a woman as a man. Go ahead and tell me what you think. Because God told you. Because God told you. Okay. Okay. So you telling me that God told you. That God told you as a Christian. That He gonna send a non-believer. And the non-believer gonna sleep with you, fall in love with you, convert to Christianity while he's sleeping with you, getting you to do whatever he wants you to do, borrowing money from you that he ain't gonna never pay you back. But at the altar, his heart gonna be renewed and he gonna fall in love with you. And y'all gonna ride off into the sunset. That what God told you? You see what I'm saying? That's like me coming and saying, you know what? Ooh. You know, Tony Gaskins, I love the Lord. And God can do anything he wants to do. So God has told me that he is going to impregnate me the way he did Mary so that I could give birth to every woman who cannot have a child. That's what I'm hearing today from so many believers. And I say, Lord, Satan done got behind the lines and done turned so many believers over to a reprobate mind. And they are now believing in mythical, unethical, unphilosophical, unlithological myths because they were scrolling Twitter and read a horoscope. But claim they love the Lord. Claim they love the Lord, but went to the tarot card reader. Done bumped into the psychic. Or in their frustration, in their agony, in their worry, in their pain, sitting there and done put words in God's mouth. And said, God finna send me somebody that's 20, 30 years younger than me because he said he want to rejuvenate my spirit. And that this person gonna give me the ride of my life. Yeah, they gonna give you the ride of your life. Gonna break your bank and break your bank and then leave you. You hear me? Listen. We got to be children of God who can hear from God, but understand that God's still gonna do things decent and in order. Now remember what I was telling you about Boaz? I got distracted on that. But what I was telling you about Boaz, what I was saying is that even though Boaz saw Ruth, he still had to be decent and in order. He didn't get to see when Ruth had to bring him the signal that she's single, that she available. He didn't say, oh, climb on up here in the bed. No. He said, okay, hey, all right, I appreciate it. Thank you for letting me know. I didn't want to cross boundaries because I could lose my life for that in this day and age. So let me go down to the courthouse. Let me go downtown and see who is rightfully in line for you. He went down. He had to go down there to talk. It come up, it was his cousin. It was his cousin or his uncle. And he said, hey, do you know Ruth? It's such and such widow. Yeah, I know her. Well, you are in line for her. According to the customs. You in line for her. Now, I could have touched her. If I wanted to be in sin outside of the will of God, I could have touched her. Put the ham hock on her. But no, I ain't do that. I'm down here talking to you. So what's it gonna be? Now, if you want her, you can have her because you in line for her, and I'm gonna do right. I'm gonna do right because I still understand God gonna do things decent and in order. And the buddy said, no, I'm straight. I got me one. I got mine. And I don't want her because she not finna come in and get half of my land and then be, heir to everything I got. No. So I'm good. You go right on ahead, Boaz. You go right ahead. Boaz said, okay, all right, let's come down. Let's have witnesses. Hey, witnesses, Y'all heard what the man said. He's in line for Ruth. He is passing. So I'm next again in line. So she gonna be mine. You see what I mean? Boaz ain't get to skip the line. Boaz ain't get to just do what he want to do. Boaz ain't get to come in on no cloud with no rain barrel and scoop down on that cloud and say, come on up here. Actually, the Lord said he gonna hold a ceremony for us in heaven. No, it's still gonna make sense. It's still gonna make sense. God is not the author of confusion. If God getting ready to do something in your life financially, physically, spiritually, romantically, it's still going to be decent and in order, and it's going to make sense. It's still going to work for your life. You can't look at what he did for somebody 2,000-3,000 years ago in a whole nother continent, whole set of different rules and laws, and then try to apply that to your life today. That's not wisdom. That's not wisdom. The same God still on the throne, but the work gonna be done differently. It's different apostles. It's different messengers. It's different people that God is using today. It's different laws. It's different cultures. It's different belief systems. You hear me? Just in morals and values. Guess what? Things still gonna be done decent and in order. So listen to me, to everybody that's a believer. Stop being so mystical. Stop trying to be so heavenly minded that you are of no earthly good, that you can't even relate to the other brethren and sisters in the body of Christ, because you just think you sitting on the right hand side of God and that God done told you something that don't make no practical sense. Don't make no sense at all. See, that's why wisdom, see, if it was supposed to not make sense, then wisdom would have been called witchcraft. The book of Proverbs would have told you a recipe to put in one of them big steel iron cast pots, one of them big pots, like what you seen on the movie, and stir something up, and then that's how a lot of people doing today as believers. No. Proverbs says if you don't have wisdom, just ask for it. Just pray for wisdom. Pray for knowledge. In all your getting, get understanding. Get understanding. And then the message goes on in the book of Proverbs to just be plain. To just be plain. It say, listen, young man, stay away from that strange woman. Stay away. It don't say go down there to this strange, loose booty 901 on the corner, spit game at her, and try to turn her into a housewife. It say stay away from her, because she done devoured many men. Done been sucked into that house and ain't made it up out of there. Done got robbed and done lost their life at her hands. Stay away from her. Guess what? That's all I'm doing. A modern day book of Proverbs saying, listen, this is what's out here. Recognize it, realize it, stay away from it. And then somebody say, well, Tony, will you tell us about a holy man? Because you're talking about average men. You're talking about just everyday man. Tell us about a holy man. I ain't got to tell you about a holy man. That's what the Bible telling you about. If God send you a man, you ain't gonna need me. When God send you the man for you, you gonna know it. God don't need my permission to get a man to you. You're not gonna need Tony Gaskin's confirmation about the man for you that come from God. See, what I'm preparing you for is for the 9 out of 10 men that you gonna meet that's sent to you by the adversary. That's what God told me to use my wisdom for. Because God said, when I send her the man that I done raised up for, She gonna know it. It's gonna be clear because I'm not the author of confusion. It's gonna be clear cut. But before she meet him, she gonna meet 100 dogs. And I need her to be ready. Hey, I got to go. God ain't call me past an hour. Bless you.